Hello.
Ready? Hi, I'm Sarah from The Upcoming. An absolute pleasure to have you both here with us today. Maybe you could kick off with a brief introduction to Against the Ice. People don't know anything about it. What can they expect if they watch this film?
Well, it's a story that's based on a true story, and it's about two men's expedition to the northeast of Greenland and how they make it back, or how they try to survive.
And what was the appeal of going back and telling this very particular story in this setting for you, Joe?
I mean, for me, it's completely transportive. You know, it's a whole different world, time, place, people. So for me, it was just the whole experience, and you know, essentially, it's about brotherhood, friendship. You know, man against the elements. I think there's always an appeal for those kinds of stories. You know, we live very safe, comfortable lives, and you know, to see or experience something that's not quite so comfortable, I think is interesting for an audience, certainly for an actor.
And for you, Nikolaj?
Yeah, no, it was. I thought it was just a beautiful story. I read the book that we based the story on, and it has all that, as you just mentioned, and then it also describes, you know, this relationship of these two opposites that meet in these insane circumstances, and how this friendship evolves. Two very, very different men, and I thought it was just interesting because it's almost like they're confined in this tiny little world, but the setting is this vast, never-ending landscape, and I thought it was interesting. I wanted to make a movie there, and I've always wanted to shoot something in Greenland because I find that place just magical. And I know a lot of people haven't necessarily seen that. You've heard about it, but to actually go there with these two guys, I thought would be really cool.
And they are two very opposing characters that are kind of thrown together. So how did you guys both prepare to play your characters, but also to develop that relationship on screen? And what was that process like for you both?
For me, it was. It took a moment to figure out who this guy was. It didn't initially jump off the page. I couldn't. Often I read. I always read the script out loud when I get it, and play with different sort of voice and intonation and cadence. And this one didn't immediately fly. I couldn't quite work out a way in. It was only when I got over to Iceland and started sort of rehearsing the scenes with Nikolaj and Peter that I started to find a pathway into who this guy was, and you know, that comes with voice, and that comes with sort of just changing sort of pitch and things like that, and sometimes it just happens organically when you're working with a great actor like Nikolaj. You know, it's like you just figure things out in the room, and yeah, that's kind of how it played for me.
Yeah, no. I mean, the same thing as Joe says is like you have obviously, the script is where you start, and I'd spent a lot of time. I co-wrote the script with Joe Derrick, so we spent a lot of time with these characters. But then, of course, one thing is writing. Once you have to do it, it becomes a very different animal. And for me, it's always once you meet the other actor, that's when it comes to life, and where you try different things and you try to find your way. So what we knew was we were looking for someone really good to play Ivar, because it's a difficult part. And because at first he is very much just following along, and his strength is revealed throughout. And we were just very, very lucky that we got Joe to do it.
And just watching it, I just feel cold. Like
it's funny how everyone said that after we had a great screening last night. And quite a few people said, "It's fucking cold in there, wasn't it?" And like, nah.
This is so different. So I mean, I can't even imagine what it was like shooting the film, and so not only dealing with the cold and the snow, but then also the dogs. And I wondered how much of that was maybe even happening for you, having to keep control of them. I mean, maybe you didn't have to act that much.
No, I didn't have to do much acting. It's all real. I think that's what you want, really. It's like the less you have to actually fake, the better, really. And it was very cold. It was uncomfortable. We were trudging through snow for hours on end. We've got dogs that I can't control, doing whatever the hell they want, and yeah, you just play into that.
No, it's true. It's like and that was one of the things we wanted to do from the beginning. We wanted it to shoot on location in the elements. It had to be cold because first of all, it just looks better, and you want it to be authentic. But also, as you say, as an actor, what you do, acting is reacting, and when you're there, when it is cold, when it is exhausting, you just do it, and then hopefully the camera will capture it. And we were just, we were lucky on so many levels with this movie that we were able to shoot at the locations where we shot. It was tough. Dogs, the dogs were great for a couple of takes, and then they were like, "Fuck it, we've done this. Don't want to do this again." And you're like, "No, you have to do it again." And then you had the dog wranglers, but we have to run to the end of the track and hide behind a rock or something and go, "Come on, bud, come on, come on." And then slowly the dogs go, "Okay, we'll go over there." What you see is it's all real.
You didn't get frostbite and have to cut off anyone's toes, though.
No, but it was funny because we had one note that came back from one of the, from Netflix. They looked at the rushes, and there was a note saying, it looks fantastic, it's just fantastic. There's something about the ice in the beard of the guy that looks a little too much, and we're like, you didn't put any ice. It's just because it was cold, it's the way it looks. Yeah.
And what do you hope people will take away from watching it? Because like you say, there's the relationship between the guys, and then there's something very inspiring just about, that's people who survive under those conditions, particularly back then when they didn't have, North Face jackets and whatever. I was also reminded of, the film Arctic by Joe Penner with Mads Mikkelsen, and how that was another film really difficult to watch, but is there something sort of cathartic about putting people through that in the cinema, and they come out and think, well, actually, my life's a lot easier than what they've survived. I can survive anything.
Yeah, I think, it's, as I say, it's like, it's a story, it's two people who are working together really to get through this, and I think that's a real reflection on life, and, we've been in isolation for so long, relative isolation for so long, and, so much of life is about, having other people around you to support you and build you up, and it's how we get here today. It's like in this industry, it's like you need so many people to help you along the way, and I think behind anyone there are great people, and I think behind Mikkelsen there is a very strong person in Ivor. So I think that's a cool thing you can take from it.
And also I think that you have two very, very different men that on a normal day and a normal expedition, they wouldn't be going on this journey together. But he, had no idea what was going on, so he just volunteered for something which for everyone else around was like, this is a suicide mission. But what's interesting is you have, and also the world we live in today, we kind of, usually you have this, divided world, people stay with their own kind, and here you have two guys that are forced together, and they probably don't agree on many things, don't have to, but they need each other, and they work together, and that's a very powerful thing,
And finally, how does it feel to have the film showing here at the Berlinale? Yesterday we're having people be able to watch it on the big screen, and then of course it's going to be out on Netflix, so the whole world can enjoy it at the same time, so that's quite unique.
Yeah, it was fantastic just to be able to have to, it's a big epic, Torben, the cinematographer's done a fantastic job making it look beautiful, and I think it is made for the big screen really. Obviously most people will see it on the small screen, but it was lovely to have that opportunity to see it with an audience. And it's cool that it's going to be able to get out to most of the world.
No, it was just wonderful. I mean, we're very lucky that, because we had very high ambitions, and we were very lucky that Netflix came in and were willing to finance this film. It's not an easy film to do. And to last night to see it with everyone, and to have that feeling of like the response was incredible. And yeah, just very, very happy.
I think I'm out of time, but it's been an absolute pleasure to speak to you both. Thanks so much, and
Thank you so
enjoy the
much.
rest of the time in Berlin.